Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay, let's do it. Hi, guys. My name is Connor. If you are new, I like to learn about history through YouTube recommendations. Hit all the things. Let's go. Flag, history, France. I have done Germany. And I've done the British flag. French flag time. Let's go. Julian.
During the French Revolution, people wore cockades to symbolize which side they were on in the place of uniforms. Cockades emerged in the 18th century and were used in a few conflicts. During the Jacobite Rebellion in Britain, the Hanoverians wore black and the Jacobites wore white, the same as the Royalists in France. In the American Revolution, the Americans merged the British black and the French white for their cockades. And in the French Revolution, the Bourbon Royalists wore white, while the revolutionaries initially decided to use green, supposedly the color of hope. But green was associated with the king's repressive brother, so the revolutionaries adopted the colours of Paris, thus preventing a much worse flag for France. The blue of the Parisian flag comes from Saint Martin of Tours, who lived in the 4th century. In legend, Saint Martin of Tours cut his cloak in two to share it with a beggar, and part of this cloak, a blue cloak, was allegedly preserved as a relic. As a side note, the medieval Latin for cape, cappa, is where the word chapel originates from because of this relic. In the 6th century, King Clovis I converted to Christianity, and it is believed he was the first to carry this relic into battle, thus making blue the color of his and his descendants.
Yeah, I you know, that sort of saint, I think saint symbol, I forget what it is. New Orleans Saints use it, but it's, that flag with the 4 squares on it, red, blue with the 3 lions and the 3 things. I forget what they're called, but I remember seeing those, and I thought it was some sort of merge between Normandy and England and became one banner, and so I'm not sure if it's going to touch on that.
Banner. Philip II, who reigned in the late 12th century and early 13th century, added the fleur-de-lis to the blue field, and this remained the banner of France for a century and the coat of arms until the Revolution. However, the origins of the fleur-de-lis are shrouded in mystery. It can be found in ancient civilizations.
Okay, all right. Okay.
In the Middle East, and there are a number of theories on how it came to be important in France. Some say it is a stylized lily which early Christians adopted from ancient civilizations, and it soon represented purity and the Virgin Mary. From this, the legend states angels brought lilies to Clovis I when he converted. However, some say it may not represent a flower at all. For instance, on this banner, you see it as a spear. It is also theorized that it could represent a bee. The reason for this is that 300 golden bees were discovered in the tomb of Childeric, the father of Clovis. Emperor Napoleon would latch onto this idea of the bee and surround it his coat of arms.
I was about to say a bee, really, but I guess that makes sense if they found all those.
Emperor Napoleon would latch onto this idea of the bee and surrounded his coat of arms in them. But in my humble opinion, I think it is more likely a stylized iris flower found in the Lys River in France and Belgium. This explains why the flower is yellow and why, in a series of coins produced by the Roman Emperor Hadrian, the province of Gaul is represented by a woman holding this flower. Plus, given its simplicity, I believe the various designs could have a woman holding this flower. Roman Emperor Hadrian, the province of Gaul is represented by a woman holding this flower. Plus, given its simplicity, I believe the various designs could have emerged around the world from ancient Judea to the Aztec Empire independently. Therefore, it makes sense why early Christian rulers who used the design tended to come from the same region.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the craziest symbol. It's not so basic either. I mean, it's somewhat unique. I don't think that makes sense, somewhat unique, because unique means one of a kind. Flower, I guess. I mean, I like all of these answers, guesses.
Surrounding the Lys River, France, Germany, and the lowlands, and from there it spread. Back to the Parisian flag. The red comes from the banner of Saint Denis, a bishop of Paris in the 3rd century. Now, I should intersect and say that both these saints had great importance in Paris, and 2 large cathedrals were built to honor them. It is believed that the red of the banner of Saint Denis represents the blood of this beheaded saint, but it is also interesting to note that as the banner gained popularity, it was claimed that it had the powers to soak up the enemy's blood. The banner was never a national or royal symbol, but it was used as a battle stand.
That's the thing I was talking about, the 3 lions and then the Parisian, the flower things. Sorry.
Louis VI first carried the banner into battle in the 12th century, and it would go on to see action in battles in the Crusades and even Agincourt. However, there was an earlier flag associated with this banner, the legendary Oriflamme, which was given to Charlemagne by the Pope. Oriflamme literally means gold flame, and early images suggest that the banner was green. However, later descriptions describe it as red, and over time the history of this legendary Oriflamme merged with that of the banner of Saint Denis. This meant that the banner of Saint Denis no longer just had a religious importance, but because it had merged with the Oriflamme, it came to represent the nation as a whole. So, there's the red and the blue of the Paris flag, but white was the colour of the Bourbon dynasty. However, because the Bourbons had used the colour for so long, it also represented the nation, so the French revolutionaries added the white to nationalise their revolution. White was first used by the French on Crusades. Well, initially, when the crusading nations first agreed to adopt coloured crosses to tell each other apart, France first used a red cross on a white field, while the English used a white cross on a red field. But, although the reasons are not fully known, the two nations swapped. The white cross was then used on both red and blue fields, but
hey, you want to switch? Sure.
the two nations swapped. The white cross was then used on both red and blue fields, but eventually the blue became the more popular and was used for its navy, and this is where you get the flags of Martinique and Quebec. But it was Joan of Arc who made white the prominent colour in French heraldry. The flag that she designed was simply a picture of Jesus on a white field. The banner of Saint Denis fell out of favour after the Battle of Agincourt, and the white flag of Joan of Arc was quick to take its place. White also gained more importance in the 16th century, when Protestant Huguenots wore white sashes. The first Bourbon king, Henry IV, who was raised a Protestant, wore a white plume and is often pictured also with a white sash. He converted to Catholicism and the Bourbon dynasty remained so, but they later adopted the white field for the majority of their flags due to its importance historically, and it was seen as a bit of a reconciliation colour between the Catholics and Protestants. So there's the red, white and blue. The flag was arranged in a vertical tricolour, making it different to the horizontal tricolour of the Dutch Republic. And although the Dutch Republic helped associate the tricolour with republicanism, the influence of the French flag and its revolution can be seen all over the world.
That was perfect. That was a perfect video. It answered all of the things I'm on. Oh, I'm not subscribed. I'm on my second channel, but I'll upload it on my first. Yeah, I mean, it answered everything. The main question I had was what was that symbol that I called it the saint symbol because I see it on the New Orleans Saints, and that makes sense, I guess, because the French heritage in Louisiana. Yeah, that was great. That answered a lot of my questions, cleared a lot of things up, did it perfectly. Awesome video. See you guys next time.